This program is sponsored by Safe Life Experience Consult Limited. Contact them for all your travel and tour needs, as well as your events.
I am the God that healeth thee. I am the Lord, your healer. I sent my word and healed your disease. I am the Lord, your healer. I am the God that healeth thee. I am the Lord, your healer. I sent my word and healed your disease. I am the Lord, your healer.
God's name is more powerful than any disease you can name tonight. You might have received a horrible report from the doctors and told you your disease is incurable. But you know what? There's hope tonight. There is hope because God's promised that He would heal us. I want you to put His word on your lips tonight. Sing His word back to Him. And see if His name isn't more powerful than cancer, than heart disease, or any disease that you can name tonight. Oh yes, He's your healer. Let's sing it to Him. You are the God that healeth me.
You are the God that healeth me. You are the Lord, my
The coronavirus has really done us a wonderful blow. It has really set us back. Academically, we cannot do enough work because of the effect of the pandemic. Everywhere is shut down. It's not only the academic life of us here, other activities have been also affected, the religious activities and the social activities and everything. Basically, it has really impacted on our studies. The schools have been shut down and were meant to be for 2 weeks. So nobody saw it coming this way. So we are really preparing to stay for 2 weeks, and after the schools, the lectures will also resume. But unfortunately, the pandemic has lingered. It is so alarming that nobody dares to go out or to continue our studies. So the university officials have instructed and also advised that we stay in the house. By the grace of God, many universities, they have started the online lectures. Thanks to God that it was possible. But unfortunately, very many also in the universities could not really afford the online lectures because of how it is. But that is the situation we are in order not to really miss out in the curriculum or the program of the university. So the university authorities, they have thought it twice to begin an online lectures pending till when the pandemic will come to an end. So it has really affected personally my studies in the sense that I'm trying to get my topic approved. So I've really done some little work on my thesis proposal, which I've sent to my moderator. And I'm supposed to get appointment to see my moderator, but I cannot because of the present state of things. Secondly, it should also give me an ample time to study and do some work at home. But because my topic has not been approved, I now do less. Psychologically, hearing the news of the people who have been affected, those who have lost their lives, and those who have been also seriously infected, it has really caused some tension and also removed some level of disposition to really do my studies. So all these things, it has really brought me back in terms of really preparing and also in terms of really carrying out my studies.
In a healthy body, hair like cilia lining the tubes constantly push the mucus and germs out of your airways, where you might expel them by coughing. Normally, cells of your immune system attack viruses and germs that make it past your mucus and cilia and enter your alveoli. However, if your immune system is weakened, like in the case of a coronavirus infection, the virus can overwhelm your immune cells, and your bronchioles and alveoli become inflamed as your immune system attacks the multiplying viruses. The inflammation can cause your alveoli to fill with fluid, making it difficult for your body to get the oxygen it needs. You could develop lobar pneumonia, where one lobe of your lungs is affected, or you could have bronchopneumonia that affects many areas of both lungs.
I am the God that healeth thee. I am the Lord.
My name is Dominic Nolan. I'm a Columban missionary working and living in the Philippines. Originally from Australia, but spent most of my life in the Philippines. I love the Philippines, I like working there. As I'm getting older now, and this year is my 75th or 76th birthday and 50 years ordination, I decided to come to Rome again, perhaps for a last time, and mainly to visit many churches, and I suppose, if I'm completely honest, to see my favourite painter, Caravaggio, and go to various churches and museums and spend some time seeing some of his paintings. So it's been with great expectation for a long time to come. Many people said, why come now, especially at the end of winter? It'd be cold and that, and I said, oh no, that's the time I like. Not too many people and easy to travel on buses, etc. And the cold doesn't affect me that much. You have warm clothes and you're all right. So off I go, and I was able to get, a long time ago, a great deal on a ticket. So it was happy heart. I heard about the virus in the north of Italy, Milan and a few places, and I thought, oh well, they will, that's all I thought. And I said, they'd look after it. I wasn't particularly worried. I thought it would have gone more in China, but I wasn't particularly worried. I knew China had been shut down because we had a couple of Chinese priests and people in Manila who couldn't get out. So off I came, and I got here, and it took me a while, a couple of days to get over jet lag. And by that time we were almost under lockdown. And the first few days were easy because I was still settling into Italy. But now, a couple of weeks later, it's quite different. And the most shocking part is I thought the numbers of death, God rest them, would be going down, but it's gone up. One night particularly, I wouldn't say a panic attack, but I was very, very anxious one night and very disturbed, and thinking all the stupid things you think when you're not thinking quite right. The virus for me, physically, beautiful house, beautiful food, someone to cook for you, it's easy. I have the YouTube, which I love. I must confess I'm not addicted to it, but very closely, and I love it. I'm interested in the agricultural side of things and ecology, and I have about 10 or 20 people who are trying to do things on a small scale farming around the world, and I listen to them. So what has it meant to me? It meant this virus, it's meant I'm praying harder, I think. I'm very, very aware of how us humans run things. The surprising thing, the clear skies, which the earth has seemed to have had a rest from our activities, and fishes coming back that they haven't been seen before for a while. Personally, I'm worried. I'm 76 in July. I'm worried, that's a worry to me. But on the physical side, it's been easy. A mental side or emotional side, psychological side, hard. Thank God today we were having lunch and I said, thank God for my companions, which makes life much more easier than it would have been. Thank God for the sisters next door. They come and we pray together, and whenever the Pope has had special prayers or the religious superiors have decided on something, we've gone along with that. And it's been a great comfort and a great boost. And one night I was thinking, and I happened to suggest, hey, maybe we should have a holy hour on this Saturday night. And it didn't matter to me because I'd spend an hour in prayer. But I was very surprised. I shouldn't have been surprised because I mentioned it, and the response that I got for it was overwhelming. And you know what? Definitely, and it really shook me, and it boosted my faith. And we went ahead. So prayer-wise, I'm praying as hard as ever, and trying to sort of say, "Thy will be done, O Lord," and what does it mean to me? How should I respond to this thing? And well, number one, I suppose in the house is responding to other people, being very aware of looking after people and being considerate and kind, and being very aware that there are others in a much worse situation than I am. You know, I was just thinking last night, one of my YouTube friends pointed out, what happens if you're in an abusive family situation and you're under lockdown? What happens if you've got an abusive husband or wife, or you're a child and you have an abusive adult? What happens if you're mentally unstable and you need to be out and about? What happens if you're emotionally or psychologically upset? Just imagine the burden on that. What happens if you didn't have nowhere to go? I'm so proud of the Philippines. Many people, the Paulus and the De La Salle brothers, have opened up schools and rooms, people sitting at least 6 feet apart, 10 feet apart, and at least a place of shelter. The government in these places, I think, didn't know how to handle it because they said, go home, get off the streets. And these people had nowhere to go, and yet some people were so kind they opened up places to do it. I think together it's terrible. We will get over it, but I think the world will be a different place for it. Of a night time I listen to the BBC and all the financial experts get going. Part of me is disgusted. For instance, they do a bill to help people who aren't getting wages or their salary, and here comes multi-million bailouts for very, very rich companies and people, as if they're the same as a worker with a couple of kids with no money. They're getting bailed out, they're getting paid twice almost. So that disgusts me. But on the other hand, people are very much aware of what's happening, aware of people in power and of knowledge taking advantage of the situation. And it's there blatantly to see. And over the last few years, the thing I've been worrying about is what I call the death of truth. What is true? We have people in positions of power and authority telling blatant lies. Maybe it's always been this way, I don't know. But if you have the truth and people of goodwill and trying to do good for the common good for all, we can come through things. Sorry, I'm rambling. But these are the things that have been on my mind. Thanking God for protection and safety here. The response of family and friends. And thank God for the modern technology of communication. I'm on Messenger and I FaceTime. So I'm able to see and hear and speak. And when I've been upset, people have been saying, hey, we're with you, we're looking out, we're praying for you, which has been a great comfort and a great thing. So, has it been hard? Yes. Has it been difficult? Yes. But in comparison to others, I have nothing to complain about.
Signore, ci rivolgi un appello alla fede, che non è tanto credere che tu esista, ma venire a te e fidarsi di te. Ci chiami a cogliere questo tempo di prova come un tempo di scelta. Non è il tempo del tuo giudizio, ma del nostro giudizio. Il tempo di scegliere che cosa conta e che cosa passa, di separare ciò che è necessario da ciò che non lo è. È il tempo di reimpostare la rotta della vita verso di te, Signore, e verso gli altri.
Sending you greetings from Rome. I'm here because the Bishop's Conference sent me here 4 years ago to be chaplain for Ghanaians. Happy Easter. Regarding what is happening in Italy, in terms of the coronavirus, many of the news we've been getting about Italy are true, but there are also quite a lot that are also fake. And that's very unfortunate. Recently, there was a picture of the Prime Minister of Brazil, and they had used the internet to let it look like he was crying, and then they picked that as the Prime Minister of Italy giving up on the coronavirus and situation and saying there's nothing we can do, we are exhausted now, all that is left is hopelessness. And there was another picture of 350 coffins. And that is also not about the coronavirus. It was an issue some time ago, very sad, when African migrants were shipwrecked and all of them died, and so they were in those coffins ready for burial. It's very sad. And then there was another Croatian image of earthquake victims, very sad, but also said to be about the coronavirus situation, and Italy people lying on their beds in the open air. And there was also another from Frankfurt of an art looking like dead bodies on the street, and they were saying, look at Italy and their dead bodies, they have no way of picking even up their dead bodies for burial. All those were surely fake. But at the moment, the situation, as you have heard, the genuine one is true, because positive cases are 104,000, the dead 21,000, and those, thank God, healed 37,000. So it's not a joke. As you know, everybody knows this coronavirus is no joke anywhere in the world, and we keep on praying. As I stand here, it is the 40th day since the lockdown. I had come from Mass one Sunday, and then I arrived in the house, and already one priest joked, please don't come near me, because you are coming from the metro or the train, and the news we are getting is that this is a very serious situation and nobody should come close to each other. So the distancing started then, and we've been observing it up to now, 40 days. I live in a 4-story building. I'm the only one living up there because as a place for tourists and pilgrims, nobody comes now, of course, to Rome, and also workers are in their own houses because of the lockdown. So it is a really, really difficult situation, but we are all praying and things will surely be better. As a pastor or somebody responsible for especially the spiritual progress of my people, imagine I have had Mass alone, and that is what is happening also at your end. I have no contact with my people, but thank God there is the internet, and we use this technology to read them through the Mass or give them the Word of God or homilies or teachings and material on which they can reflect. For example, I have candidates for the Christian initiation of adults, and we're so looking forward this Easter Vigil. Just as we did last year, there was Charles who also finished his term, and then we had a very beautiful baptism, Eucharist, and confirmation and Eucharist. And this year, the Vicar General of the Pope has said, this year I am not giving any letter of authority to pastors and chaplains to do the Christian initiation of adults. All migrants will receive these sacraments from my own hands. And so we were all going to move to the Lateran Basilica on Easter Vigil for this beautiful Mass, during which Michael and Agnes would have been initiated, but it didn't come on, as it didn't also at your end. So that is the situation. But thanks to the internet, I'm continuing classes, catechetical lessons with them, and we are praying together in the evenings. And so, the situation is indeed as you heard about. And now, on the 13th of April, the lockdown was supposed to end, but the situation assessed is not yet where we would have wished it were. So it has been extended to the 3rd of May, and we are praying that on the 3rd of May, all over the world, there will be reason to think we are coming to the end. So the situation about those studying and doing courses and people whose scholarship might be getting exhausted, this year, big problem. You would have wished you were in your university, going to the library, consulting books directly. No. It's all classes online. And even then, we thank technology, modern technology. They cannot really get that personal contact with whom they want to be in contact with. And it's sad, So all the classes are online. And the research has also to be online. So we are praying. Sometimes I think of children, and you see some of these children so gifted, the way they react online, to let you know their frustration, staying indoors as children, not able to go out and play and speak to anybody. Very, very sad. But there is hope. The Lord is risen, and He fills our hearts with hope. So,
greetings to everybody. I am Frank John Gilagiza, a deacon of the Catholic Church in Tanzania. I have been here in Rome for a quite long time. I arrived here 2015. It has all the while been nice to stay in Rome, studying in Rome, more especially because it is the center of our church. It is where the Pope is found. It is where a great part of history of our church is found here. But something new happens this year. We have been inflicted by the new coronavirus, the famous COVID-19. Yeah, from last month, we are in quarantine. The life in general has been changed. We are living the life which none of us had expected to have in his stay here in Rome. Yeah, for me, I think it is also a good moment for us, for every human being, to know that at the end of the day, we are not the ultimate author and programmers of our life. Because definitely, not only we who are students, but customers, businessmen, and everyone with his daily activities had only programmed an annual plan from January without previewing what would have happened this time. It is also a lesson that there is a certain power which is beyond our control, and this is evidenced by the presence of coronavirus in our midst. As a students, it has directly affected us because there are some programs which we are doing at the university are now cancelled. It is a fact that going to the university, being in physical contact with other students and the professor is quite different from following the lessons online, because we are now following the lessons online. It is true that we are getting the content, but that personal encounter with a professor, which is not only important for learning, but also for creating deep and intimate relationship between the professor and the teacher, is now, between the professor and the students, is now missing. So we have a hope that this could be the end, this month could be the end of the pandemic. But we also subject ourselves, we are people of faith, to prayers not only for ourselves, but also for those who are working day and night, who are in the front line with patients of coronavirus, that means doctors and nurses. Thanks to God that at first Italy was the first country on the earth to have the highest number of new cases, new infections, and the number of deaths, next to China. But now it is the third country. The first is United States of America, the second is Spain. We are now the third. We are not happy because at the end of the day, those who are suffering are our brothers and sisters. But it gives us hope that there is also an decline and incline. So we hope also for the rest of the countries, they will also be in a normal situation in declining stage as we are now doing. Our parents at home are very much occupied, mostly probably more than ourselves. You know, if you are in Tanzania or if you are in Africa and they hear the number of deaths which are happening in Italy and you have your son in Italy, the first impression which you have that your son is dying because he's the only person you know in Italy and you see that they are dying. So the impression you have is that he is also dying. It is true that the majority of people who have died had previously health problems, which are resulted maybe by smoking or by old age, which is the nature of the body, immunity goes down. So the new infection once comes, the time the body takes to discover the new infection and to create an immunity to that new infection, already the body finds itself weak and easily dead. So we are also getting good time to pray for brothers who had passed away with a great hope that we will join them in the next life which we all believe to have. So we are keeping on praying and we ask all the brothers to pray together and to encourage and to be positive in transmitting the notions and the informations about coronavirus and to have a positive attitude that this is also a good moment for family to be together because here in Europe it is a problem. Most of the families, the father and the mother of the family are working from Monday to Sunday, morning to night. They don't have a time to stay together, to play together, to eat together, and to be with their family together. We could also take it positive this time that maybe it is also a time which God has given us to see the real nature of family as a community of people living together full of love. Thank you very much, and let us keep praying for one another.
Every day, we are learning more about this virus and the disease it causes. One of the things we're learning is that although older people are the hardest hit, younger people are not spared.
Hello, I am Selvin Reyes, priest from Guatemala City, Central America. I was born in Salama, a little town in the north of my country. Now I am studying social communication in the Pontifical University of the Holy Cross in Rome. Today, I want to share some concerns and feelings that people have been expressed to me in this time of global crisis. I am afraid, and I say to them, we are all afraid. It is normal in such a critical situation. I want to weep, and I say to them, wept. Jesus Christ wept. I, as a priest, I have wept. This overflows our strength. We are not iron people. We are of flesh and blood, and we are insensitive to the pain and suffering of the brothers. In these situations, we are living through some recommendations from resilience experts. Remember, we are vulnerable beings. We are creatures. This is putting our feet on the ground. Take advantage of this situation. We living to cultivate evangelical charity. If we are vulnerable and finite, what to hold on to? For this reason, let us practice kindness, compassion, and solidarity. Activate patience, infinite patience. Today more than ever, count to 1,000. Don't hurt our loved ones, since almost all of us are stressed. Embrace the cross, not the enemy. It is a process of interior liberation, redemption, and above all, of resurrection. To be instruments of peace, harmony, charity, and forgiveness, don't expect to be consoled, but to console. Be creative in the quarantine. Try not to let negative thoughts take over us. Keep calm and a high moral optimism. The mind today more than ever must be alert and attentive. We will achieve this by doing recreational activities like sports, games, board games, all this at home, of course. Meditation and silent exercise, but above all, family prayer. All of this awaken our creativity to do something. Don't let the fear paralyze you and me. We can do something in the middle of this situation. Be careful in communication. Don't consume continuous information, especially if they are not reliable sources, since they create anxiety and disinformation. See only official sources one a day, and that's it. Regulate the use of social networks. Take a little of distance. Let's take advantage of the beautiful opportunity to share with your loved ones. If we share information on social network, let it be in positive information that promotes unity, solidarity, and above all, prayer. You must love one another as I have loved you, Jesus Christ said in the Gospel of St. John. And people will know that they are my disciples, thus they have to love one another. Brothers and sisters, holding hands with God and helping each other, we will come forward.
Strong with His loving arms when you call on His name. He will come and save you. Oh, He will come and save you.
This program was sponsored by Safe Life Experience Consult Limited. Contact them for all your travel and tour needs, as well as your events.
For he will come and